Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and today we're going to be answering more of your questions. I have my spirit guide team here with me. I'm channeling these messages, 40% spirit guides, or 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. And, that can kind of go up and down depending on what needs to happen there. But let's get started. So right off the bat, we're going to go with NS 5945 says, will Representative Tim Burchett be reelected? No. Oh, no. Isn't he in Tennessee? Is he in Tennessee? Where is he from? Whatever state this man is from, it's like infighting. It's literally, even within the party, even the party is a slugfest. It's like there's no money. Trump is siphoning off all the money for the Republicans. They're not, used to be. The Republican Party had so much money, in your local city, town, and state. The Republican Party had the big office and the big float in the parade. I mean, they had all the money. There's no money anymore. And it's causing all these local, state and House, Senate, but also the U.S. Senate, U.S. House seats. There's no money. So God, when I just went into Tim Burchett's, it's like they're having a fist fight, y'all, over like $50. They're like, no, I'm going to get this money. No, I'm going to get it. They're literally fighting themselves. Meanwhile, because also they have privilege, right? They always think that they're the privileged ones, that they're going to win. They don't even have to try. It's sewn up. This is a red state. This is a red district. It's sewn. I don't have to do anything. Well, good. Keep fighting each other, because while you're fighting each other, there's a freaking blue wave happening in your district. And you don't see it coming because you have so much privilege, you couldn't be bothered to look out your window. Well, your window is in a ivy tower somewhere, so you don't even know what the people are doing in your district. But if you were not so privileged, you might stroll down to where the commoners live and see that there is a hell of a get out the vote going on in your district. Holy smokes. Golly. This is April. Anything can happen in November, but right now his district is on fire. It is being burned down. I don't know what's going to happen. He's not going to do well, but dang, I didn't know any of that was happening. He's so out of touch. He's so out of touch. He's so out of touch with his district, but they're mad. They're crazy mad. Like, get out the torches mad. Wow. Okay. Well, if you live in Tim Burchett's district, let us know how it's going there. And stay cool and stay calm and stay safe. Barbara Pryor Smith, who says, what will the response of the far right be after the loss of DJT? Well, I think that the response is going to be much less than it would have been had not the DOJ spent an entire year putting Proud Boys in prison and putting Jan Sixers in prison. That really, I think, was the right thing to do. They went after his own kind of personal army, if you will, and disabled it. So that's going to be very helpful for us. As far as what I see right now, and I think this is going to be changing over the summer. I think it's even going to get better over the summer before we even get to the election. But right now in spring, what I see happening is some little pockets. Again, I said this last time, a couple of videos ago. I see this little county courthouse or county building in some small town in some red state where, they're doing something crazy. Maybe they're holed up in there with their guns. I don't know. They're trying to stop the vote. It's not going to work. First of all, this little town, mostly it's red votes anyway. So again, they just shoot themselves right in the foot time and again, because maybe it was lack of oxygen when they were born. I don't know. But I'm just going to say that their brain cells quite aren't of the highest caliber. Okay. So I just don't see, I don't see a big, huge problem. I did last year. I did videos about it, but I don't see it now because I think that the DOJ, at the behest and the direction of Biden, the ATF, the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, all the basically the police forces of the US have been out there rooting out these people that would be planning to do something. So by the time we get to November, I just feel like for the most part, they've diffused, say 99% of the wannabe people that would do something bad. Maybe there's one or two that get through, but I'm telling you, it's a big difference between one or two getting through and 10 or 20 getting through. And that's all thanks to these agencies really, really getting the resources they need, getting the overtime, getting the pay that they need to deal with this. It's all Biden's doing. He's really done everything he can to weed out the bad eggs, get them out, and then also to empower, the good ones to police their own people and to be very active in their communities. The guides have always said that Biden is going to be from here backwards, from his presidency, looking back historically, he's going to be seen as one of the best intel presidents, the best intelligence presidents we've ever had. He very, very much believes in intelligence. He believes in collecting it. He believes in honoring those who do the work, and he uses it. It's a very happy community between the intelligence community and Biden. Whereas, with 45, he tried to actually get rid of the FBI, right? So they weren't working in even G.W. Bush, right? They weren't working in secret, in any kind of synchronicity. Biden, we really owe it to Biden. So let me move on. Your next question is also, will there be a way, or basically your question is, will the U.S. find a way to fund humanitarian aid to Gaza? I think so. What I feel like is going to happen is I see the U.S. forming partnerships with Jordan, with Qatar, with Saudi Arabia, with Lebanon, with every kind of country that you can imagine, Egypt, all kinds of countries to help. So in this way, it looks like they're leading, because I think they do need to lead it, right? I think this is about rebuilding more stability in that area. And, the last video, we talked at length about how the United States needs to sort of take a back step in some of these things, right? We don't need to necessarily be the Lone Ranger riding in every situation. I do think that we're going to help. I think we're certainly going to facilitate this, but I do see more humanitarian aid going to Gaza. I see, I don't know if I talked about this. I've done so many videos. I had Lorraine, who's an astrologer. She talked briefly about Netanyahu's astrology chart. His chart is not good. Putin's chart's not good. Donald Trump's chart is not good. They're coming into the summer of woe is me. So I do think that the people of Israel are about to oust Netanyahu by the fall for sure. Of course, I'm not saying Gaza has to wait until the fall. Didn't say that. I'm saying Gaza will get aid. And then I'm saying that we need to move towards the two-state solution. I think that is going to be the next big step, because no one feels safe. Israel doesn't feel safe. Gazans don't feel safe. Nobody feels safe. Everybody needs to feel safe. So we need to figure out a way for that to happen. And that's what you're going to see next. And I do see a two-state solution. I've said this from the very beginning. I've said it in all my videos. I see a two-state solution, and I think it might come faster than anybody could ever believe. And I do think that Biden is going to be very, it's like, wasn't it Carter? They're showing me Carter. Was it Sadat? Carter was the last person, I think, to get close to a peace accord. And honestly, they're just showing me Biden got very close. He was just finishing up a deal with the Saudi Arabians to help And boom, this blew up. Well, it blew up because Putin and Netanyahu. That's why it blew up, because they couldn't stand, Netanyahu cannot stand to see the Arab community coming together in a cohesive way. It's a threat to Israel. Well, I'm sorry. We're all going to have to find a way to live peacefully. And I think that, again, we're going to have a bigger NATO, a more robust NATO. And I think that this world police, whoever, whether it's NATO or whether it's a bigger organization, is going to help Israel feel safe. It's going to help, little countries, big countries. Everybody is going to have their own safety, because we're going to have a bigger, more meaningful group of sort of police to protect everybody. Again, my last video talked a lot about you got to pay the piper, right? If somebody's acting out, not acting in the best interest of the world as a world citizen or a citizen of your country, you got to deal with it. If you let them continue, then you've got a bigger and bigger and bigger problem. We're done with that. We're really done with that. Like I said in the last video, our give a damn is broken. We're going to start dealing with people very quickly and very succinctly, very seriously. We're not going to give you 5 chances. You don't get 5 chances. You get 2 chances. You get 1 chance. Boom. And forget sanctions, right? Sanctions are not working. As we band all these countries together, the sanctions will be better because we'll be able to hold all these countries accountable. And also they're showing me, as we get bigger groups of countries together, not just NATO, but bigger groups of countries together, we can withhold whatever we have to these countries that would be selling black market things that should be sanctioned. So there's just more world police, basically. So yeah, that's what I see. Thank you, Barbara. Ani says, so many questions. Well, all right, good. You came to the right place. What will happen to Leonard Leo and the Heritage Foundation? This is such a good question, because Leonard Leo, well, you could call him the devil, but you could also just call him a pain in the ass of the world, right? Or a pain in the ass of the United States, for sure. You guys should do some little digging around on him. He's one weird dude. And him and these other weird dudes are really the ones that believe that women should be in the kitchen and shut up and not have a vote and not have any autonomy and not have any control of their body. They also believe that the world should be run by white people. End of story. That is their belief. Believe it. Our populace has been slow to understand that. That is it. These white men just want to be in charge, and they want everybody else to be under them by various levels, depending on your sex and your skin color. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. So all these people that think they have a lot of money and they happen to be a different skin color, yeah, they'll let you in their club right now. But their goal is, no, you don't get in my club. You go make your own club, right? It's segregation. That's really their goal, is segregation and division. And that's not going to happen, because really where the world is going is integration. And you see that with how the races are integrating. You see that how our sex, male, female, is integrating, is changing, is morphing, is evolving. We're evolving. So these people are the dinosaurs, and they're going to die out, and they're going to be in a museum somewhere. But right now we still have to deal with them. So what's going to happen with him is the guides just told me you can run, but you cannot hide, which is a pretty serious thing to say to somebody like Leonard Leo, who has so much power. In the past, what I've seen is that they retreated back into their holes. Okay. So if you can think of it like a snake that comes out of its hole because they've been embrazened. I don't know what that word is. They've been whatever. So now they're coming out of their holes, and they're, working in the open with the Supreme Court, working in the open with these congressional elected officials. They're working in the open even with some of these other countries' leaders. Well, Now they've been caught, and what they tried to do was go back into their hole. They always told you guys, Leonard Leo's mantra when I talk to him is, I want to live to rule another day. So I want to live to rule another day means not that I'm going to die, but that I want to survive this witch hunt. He feels like he's being witch hunted, right? That's what the Maggas say anyway, right? So he wants to retreat, hide, let the storm blow over. And when it's safe, he'll come out again. Is that 1 year, 5 years? Doesn't matter. They have very, very long goals. They don't care if it takes 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, or 20 years. This all started way back with the Tea Party, way back with Reagan. They've waited this long to get control and to feel like they could come out into the sunlight and flex their muscles. This is a long game for them. Now, what happened was they didn't get a chance to go back into their hidey holes because they got fingered by people like ProPublica, which is, if you're not following ProPublica, P-R-O, you're going to make me spell this, P-U-B-L-I-C-A, follow them. They're not-for-profit investigative reporters that are the ones that cracked the story on Thomas and all Justice Thomas and all of his grift and gifts that he's been getting. ProPublica has also cracked the story on Leonard Leo. So now he there's nowhere for him to run and hide. He's been caught out in the sun. He's the Dracula that's been caught, the werewolf that's been caught out in the sunshine. Instead, he's just like this, like, he doesn't know what to do. So now what he's doing is trying to fight back. It's not going to win. That's what they just said. You can run, but you can't hide, meaning you can't go back into your hidey hole. That's what I thought they were going to do 6 months ago. Well, now 6 months later, they didn't make it. They didn't make it back to the cave, and the sun came out, and now I don't know what's going to happen. I guess they're going to melt or burst into flames. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Trump will give them one of his Bibles, and it'll cause them to burst into flames. Who knows? But he's been fingered. He's going to go down. Again, this energy of what our judicial system, and it is a 2-tiered, maybe it's a 5-tiered judicial system. There's definitely a line here that you don't cross. You don't put Trump in jail. You don't put Leonard Leo in jail. You don't put these people in jail. You know, you pardon Nixon. You don't let that happen. We can't let that happen, right? Well, now things are different. Now you see that Sam Bankman-Fried going to jail. You see Bernie Madoff going to jail. You see the Hollywood producer, arguably probably one of the most powerful people in the United States, honestly, when you talk about it, going to jail. Guess what? We're starting to send these people to jail. And Leonard Leo just might end up in jail. Now, just like they're just showing me, because I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here, just like Stone, Roger Stone was involved all the way back in Nixon time. Long game. That he's like one of those things. What are those things called when you have the he's like a monster from a bad movie, that the movie ended and the monster ran off into the darkness and you're like, damn, I got to watch a sequel. They're going to bring it son of a gun back. Well, Roger Stone came back all these decades later. We might put Leonard Leo in jail, but I promise you he'll come back because your lesson repeats unless you learn it. Okay. Now, when he finally gets out of jail, and I've never seen him going to jail until right now, when he finally gets out of jail, it's going to be a new land. It's going to be a new land because these Zoomers are going to be in Congress and they're going to be like, no, we don't want that. So it's going to be a completely different world. And I think I'm here for it. I hope I'm here for it. I hope I'm here for it. But if I'm not here for it, I'm going to come down and hunt these people. I'm going to haunt all of them. I'm going to haunt them. Ooh, I think I said something I wasn't supposed to say. Okay. I don't think that's a very good use of my time. I mean, they're like, you just don't even want to know what they just said. Okay. Never mind. Sometimes I think they look at me like, maybe we bet on the wrong horse. Maybe she's not the person we thought she was. She does so well. And then she goes right down in the mud. Darn it. Okay. It's all right. I'm going to be okay. Also, you have a question about also, is money going to become digital only? I do think it is. I know that freaks y'all out. A lot of things I say freak y'all out. I do think it is. I do see something like the crypto coin becoming more mainstream and the Fed controlling it. You guys, I cannot believe we have a currency that the Fed doesn't control. That must be making them feel some kind of way. So they're going to try to get control of that. And we're going to be doing a lot of things around financial. We're going to be tightening up all of these offshore accounts. We're going to be tightening up all these LLCs. Like, I don't know how many LLCs Trump and company has, right? And then it gets really confusing because this LLC bills that LLC who pays that LLC. And then all of a sudden there's a loss when in reality there was a big profit, but it's the shell game. We're going to have to clean all of that up. So in the process of that, I think that you're going to see some big changes around our currency. And just naturally, people just don't use cash. These millennials and especially the Gen Zers, if they don't have a card, they pay for things with their phone. They just hold their phone up to it and pay it. Ask any of them if they have an actual dollar on them. So it's also just a natural evolution of our younger people and how they utilize the currency and the market. It's easier for them to only carry one thing. And that's probably where we're going. The last question you have is, will the U.S. become a true surveillance state with social scores like China? I don't see that because we're not a communist country. One of the reasons why Trump didn't work here is why he wasn't able to really do the coup is because we're so spread out. Our system of checks and balances is so broad. Even if you have one state that does something, which we've seen and are seeing, that does something completely terrible that even their own citizens don't want, we still have the federal government. We still have the district courts, the state courts. We even have other states, right? So in some states right now, you can get an abortion. In other states, you can't. We're not ever going to be on the same page. We're a republic. We're too spread out for any one person to take us over. Do you understand? A state can go rogue. So don't visit that state. Don't live in that state. The citizens will get in the streets. The citizens will say, we don't want to live like this. We don't want this. Have we all forgotten about the 1960s and 70s? Have we all forgotten about how everything changed when African-American people said, we don't want to live like this. We're not going to live like this. We're going to protest. It changed our whole world. This is what's going to happen right now, to be honest with you. This year, next year, the next year. These kids are not going to put up with this. Maybe in the 80s, we all got in line because we believed the corporations would take care of us. We saw that our dads and moms and whoever's maybe got their corporations. Maybe their companies gave them a pension. Maybe their companies took care of them. Well, heck, in the 80s, we realized, we're not even going to get Social Security. Forget a pension. And now these kids that are growing up are seeing their parents worry about not staying employed at the same company, not getting medical insurance because they got laid off, not getting a pension. And guess what's happening? Unions are exploding right now. Volkswagen they've been trying to unionize Volkswagen in the United States for decades. And now I think they're finally going to do it if they haven't already done it. They're trying to unionize Mercedes in the United States. This is a new world, you guys. This is a new world. These kids are not going to put up with it. They've seen the hell their parents have gone through. They're not going to put up with it. So no, I don't see us being a surveillance state. I don't see us having social scores. I think credit scores will probably have more to do with our lives than they should, but I really feel like we have a real potential here to go a little bit more towards socialistic democracy, not socialism, but a little bit more towards the government is going to be a safety net. These Zoomers, which are not old enough to vote yet, and these Gen X, Gen Zers, I see that guaranteed minimum payment being passed where every American citizen gets $500 a month. I've been talking about this for a long time. It's very popular with that age group because back to the question about homelessness that we talked about in the last video, we all deserve certain things. We all deserve a home of some kind. We all deserve health care. We all deserve basic nutrition. End of story. If you want a better home, rock on. If you want a car, buy it. If you want to become a millionaire, do it. So in this way, America can stay the Wild West. It can stay the place where your dreams can come true. Because it's true. We see this all the time. But at the same time, if you don't want to enter into that crazy rat race towards, billions of dollars, and you just want to live a simple life and have a simple job, then you have a simple, guaranteed life. You have a simple home with a simple medical care, with simple assistance, but it's altogether enough of a safety net that you're not going to be homeless. Maybe you're not going to be rich, but you're not going to be homeless. This is where we're going. So we're never going to end up like China. I don't see it. I don't, it's not in this is not our lesson. Thankfully, our founding fathers got a lot wrong. I've talked about it a lot. When we decimated the indigenous people who were living here, we enslaved people, terrible things. But one of the things that they got right was the way, and I think they learned it from the Iroquois Nation Indians, Native Americans, is we set up this form of government. After Trump teaches us how to fix it, what's broken about it, we're going to fix those things, and we're going to have a much more egalitarian, a much more beautiful place to live. This is what I see. It's not going to be nirvana because we didn't choose nirvana. This planet's not nirvana. This planet is up, down, good, bad. It's dualistic. But it's going to be, we're going to create a better safety net that's going to better support everybody. And then from there, you can do whatever you want. You can go as high as you want to go. If you want to create the next big, amazing idea and become a multi-gazillionaire, do it. If you want to work at the grocery store and have a decent, basic place to live, do that. Because we need everybody, but we need to make it available for everybody. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's move on to Craig Reed says, will we ever do away completely with political parties and have just one candidate run on their own merits and ideas? Well, no, but this ranked choice voting, which is coming, I believe, across the board, is going to make that more like what you're talking about. So I think you will have parties because the parties do more. The guides are saying the parties support the candidates, give them money, give them funding, would give them, building or, office or support, volunteers, whatever. But we are going to rank choice voting. So in that way, it's not like you're voting for a party necessarily. You could vote for the issue that you care about, or the person that you think will best represent you. So that's going to be very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. The Susan part of this combination, I don't know how I feel about it because I've never experienced it, but my spirit guides are always talking about it. So it must be something that's coming our way by increments. More and more and more cities, towns, states will adopt it. Next question is Michelle Johnson says, Governor Gavin Newsom has done nothing to push back on the utility companies in California for the outrageous price increases. What is behind his cozy relationship with the Public Utility Commission, who approves the rate increases? This is pissing a lot of people off. I believe you, Michelle, because I think I've heard this question before. Well, you may not like the answer, but this is what I'm getting. When I go into his energy, he is showing me his hands are tied. That's what he thinks. His hands are tied. It has to do, now don't yell at me just yet because I'm not done. I will double check to make sure that his hands are really tied. Just because he told me his hands are tied don't mean I won't believe him. But I'm also seeing infrastructure, money being poured into infrastructure to harden it, meaning to make it more secure against cyber attacks, making it so more secure against earthquakes, making it more secure against floods and landslides or mudslides, fires. Apparently, he is telling me, his energy is telling me they have me over a barrel. If I want to protect the infrastructure, if I want them to pour money into the infrastructure, they have a right to charge more. It's like he's saying they front loaded the cost. So the costs are going up now instead of the costs being meted out over the course of say 15 years or 20 years of that project. You know, you would normally pay for something as it was able to pay for itself. He's telling me they front loaded the cost to the consumer. He's also saying that he wants to say that he's not responsible. He wants to say he's not responsible directly for the Public Utility Commission. I don't know if this is true. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. And he's saying that he understands that this is a hardship and he's not happy about it. Now I'm gonna leave that there. What I'm gonna do now is go behind him and see what else is happening. Like that's what he's telling me. But that might even be his stump speech. I don't know. Now I'm going to look like I tell you guys, there's like the velvet ropes and it says like the little sign, do not enter. And I just kind of step over it. So I'm psychically going to step over the velvet ropes and look around and see what else I can see. Kickbacks, cozy relationship, kickbacks, cover up, so it's not direct, right? Like I don't know that you're going to find a direct payment to Gavin Newsom. However, I think that you could find some things that look unsavory is what the guides are saying. So if you have an investigative journalist like ProPublica that looked into this, you might see some things that raise your eyebrows, that you say, wait a minute, this isn't very clear. Like he's not directly in bed with these people, but it doesn't look good either. Okay, that's what they're saying to me. I feel like Gavin is going to the federal government and he's asking for grants to give at-risk or lower income people to be able to pay their bill. But, you know, also, when you go into this energy, this is also causing citizens, California citizens, and I think they're fighting. I think you might be I think they may fight you over this, but it could cause you to get your own solar power, to get your own wind power, to go off grid. It could cause you to try to go off grid as much as you can so that you're not paying these bills. In other words, it's the energy. The energy is applied to humans, and then humans are going to do something. They're going to react. Okay? But I feel like the state might be fighting that. I feel like you have, you have covenants, you have these management groups that manage management associations, homeowners associations, to say, no, you can't do this. So I get that your hands are tied, but he says his hands are tied. But I do see some help coming from the government, by the way, might be 2025, but by the way, of the government in some sort of credits. Hopefully that answers your question. I don't think anybody's going to catch him with his hand in his cookie jar. He's too smart for that. But it does feel like there is some improper things going on that could look bad. Even if you can't prove it, it looks bad. But there is help, because you guys, again, I just can tell you guys 1,000 times, get in the streets. People are not going to put up with this. They're not. Everybody's going to be protesting. Everybody's going to be protesting, because if Gavin's not listening to you, if the judicial system is not representing you in an equal way, if you don't have autonomy of your own body, you're going to get sick of it and you're going to get in the streets. And then they're going to listen to you. Believe me, they'll listen to you. Okay, let's move on to Mojo Writer. Will John Tester hold his Senate seat and hold the Senate? I feel some kind of way about John Tester. I'm sorry, I just do. He's a Democrat, but he bucks Biden. He bucks the Democrats. He's not a true. I know the guides are saying he does that because he's from this red state. Okay. I don't care. I don't care about it. So that's Susan. That's Susan, not the Spirit Guides. Okay. Will he hold his Senate seat? I'm hearing yes, but there is a chance that he doesn't. So right now it's a yes. I think he will hold the Senate seat, but he is not the sole reason why we're going to win the Senate or hold the Senate. If he loses his seat, it's not the end of the road for us having a majority in the Senate. So don't think that. That's not true. We're going to pick up Senate seats. Okay. You have no idea what's about to happen in June, July, and August and September. It is about to be things you never, ever saw coming. With senators are going to be out. We're going to have a lot of fresh blood in there, a lot of younger people in there. So if he loses, it's not the end of the world. I would just say that. Okay. But I do see him winning. And your other question is, will the Dems blue wall hold as well? Yes, they will. They will hold. They will. Or will they lose Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania? No, no, and no. They're not going to lose. You mean like the Congress? Is that what you're talking about? Are they going to lose Congress? Or are they going to lose the Senate? We're not going to lose. I don't see us losing in Michigan. I see blue. In just Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin could be a toss-up. I'm seeing some red. Pennsylvania, I'm seeing blue, because there's something going on with jobs in Pennsylvania. There's something about the unions or jobs in Pennsylvania or infrastructure. Wisconsin is the surprise one. I think Wisconsin, I'm seeing some red. So that's what I see with those three states. You guys, it's April. My God, seriously, by November, anything can happen. And I mean that in the best possible way, not the worst possible way, the best possible way, because this economy is killing it. Biden with the CHIP Act, he's going to be we're building chip plants all around all that whole area. A lot of the Rust Belt is getting chip factories that pay really good. We're on an upswing. This is an economy for the history books, okay? And that's going to make people vote D, vote blue, or it's going to make them sit at home and not pay any attention to the whole thing, which is fine by me too. Okay, let's go on. Murph for All says, what do we see about the aftermath of the Biden victory, and how much disruption might MAGA cause after the election and during the vote counting? I already answered this question in the last video. I don't see any aftermath. I see I see these bad actors trying, and I mean, they're put down. They're put down so fast and so hard. It's actually like more force than is needed. It's like, we've been waiting for this. Boom, they're put down. So I don't see much disruption. I just don't see it. I don't see it, especially by November. I don't see it. I mean, you're going to see some flare-ups over the summer, but that's good, because if you want to act crazy, you want to get out there and be violent or do some things you shouldn't be doing, breaking some laws, then guess who's going to be knocking on your door? You know, the ATF, the FBI, the police. So that's great. I hope they get out there and show their faces this summer so we can lock them up in time for the election. So I just don't see any big problems that direction. Pandora Albert says, what lies ahead for MTG? Do you see the smile on my face? Well, first of all, she's being gagged. Somebody puts their hand over her mouth and they pull her off of a stage. It could be off of the floor of the house. This could be metaphorical, but somebody says, shut up. Not because they think what she's saying is stupid or wrong or hurtful, but because she's saying too much. She's saying too much. So somebody literally, comes behind, puts their hand over her mouth and drags her for her own good and for the good of the party. They drag her out of the spotlight. So this could mean that she doesn't have the bully pulpit. Right now the spirit guides are showing me, when she does anything, and it's sad, but it is true. When she does anything, or even if she doesn't do anything, if Jeffries says something, the press hounds her in the parking lot while she's going to her car. Like, you could see pictures of 10 or 15 press reporters hounding her, like they hounded her when they lost the vote to get rid of Johnson. They hounded her. She didn't talk to them, but they give her too much of a bully pulpit. The press is always going to her because she's happy to run her mouth off. But I think she's getting herself in trouble, and I think she's getting her own party in trouble, and I think they really want her to shut up. Okay? So, yeah, she's being sanctioned, as I just heard. She's being sanctioned by the House, maybe not by her own party, but there's a new sheriff in town. The people are saying, we're not going to put up with this anymore. Again, listen, it's the same energy of Trump. In the last video, I talked about how Trump is giving the middle finger to the judicial system and to the court and to the judge, and daring you. I'm daring you to do something. That's what she does. That's what MTG does. She does the same thing. I'm daring you. Come on. If you think you could take this on, come on. Well, what did I just say about the powers coming in to control any kind of shenanigans around the vote? Boom. This is the energy for MTG. We're all over it. The judge is over it. The House is over it. Biden is over it. The citizens are over it. They're over it. They just want peace. They just want some kind of normalcy. They're tired of the road rage. They're tired of these MAGAs running around being bullies. They're tired of it. Everybody's tired of them. And that's where we are right now. And by the end of the summer, we're going to be so tired of them that they're just not going to get the play. They're going to start looking like a mockery of themselves. That's why they showed me MTG being, basically muzzled. This is where she's going. She's going to a place of less power. She's going to a place of being a mockery. And then from there, from that place of being the mockery of Congress, truly, she's going to go, she's going to be, I think she's going to have an indictment against her. And I just saw Matt Gaetz as well, for entertainment purposes only. I think they're going to have indictments against them. I think they're going to be lawyering up very soon. Again, in the last video, I don't know why this is. It just is what it is. I'm just telling you what I get. Once they get Trump dead to rights. Once they get him convicted, open season for MTG, open season for all of those Jan Sixers. Do you understand what open season means? It means we can now go after you. It means you have a bounty on your head. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in a court of law, is what they just read to me in my own mind. What is that, Miranda rights or something? I don't know. I'm channeling this. So you wouldn't want to be MTG. You wouldn't want to be any of these people. In about 2 months, 4th of July, in their living room with the flashbang bombs going off. Okay, let's do maybe 1 or 2 more. Gordon says, you're concerned about Judge Cannon and how much longer for the axe to fall on her. So we've talked about her, and luckily other psychics. Now, I don't watch other psychics just because it jacks with my head, and then I don't want to know anything. You know what I mean? I don't want to know what other people are getting because I don't want to know. However, sometimes I do collaborations with other psychics, and in that way, I know that other psychics have also seen Judge Cannon being gone. I see her being gone. I see her off the court. If not off the court, off of this case. Now, the spirit guides have told you guys that Jack Smith, every time Cannon does something that's unlawful or not procedurally sound, what happens is Jack Smith writes his memorandum or whatever he does to her, and he says, this doesn't fit case law, or this is not, how we do this. Would you like to change this? And oftentimes she does change it. However, every time he does that, it's another stack in the papers that is the case against her. He's building his case against her, right? So he's got quite a few instances where he can prove that she did something that was just egregious, completely unacceptable. Let's just say that. And what Cannon does, which is brilliant, frankly, she dances right up to the line. This is what they all do. This is what Bannon does. This is what Barr does. This is what Trump does not dance to the line. He falls over it. He craps on it, But anyway, the rest of them dance up to the line and try not to step over. Like Eastman, they're showing me Eastman, Trump's lawyer. He did that. He kept dancing up to the line, but then he lost his balance and went over the line. And that's why he's in big political, legal trouble right now. He didn't mean to go over the line, but he did. When you're dancing up to the line, you might get a little too happy and trip and go over that legal line of the law. Okay, so Cannon is doing that. She's going right up to the line, dancing back, right up to the line, dancing back. But what she's doing, they're telling me, is when she goes up to the line, she's trying to create new precedent. She's trying to make new precedent because they're calling them edicts. She gives these rulings, and then they stand because they don't go over the line, because we didn't realize that we needed to make the lines different, because we never had people like Trump show us that the lines don't matter. But now, in the future, we'll go back and we'll fix that. But right now, we have to work with the laws we have. End of story. We have to work with the laws we have, even if they're not good enough. So he's going around her. The bottom line is Jack Smith is going to go around her. He's going to make her a non-thing. He's just going to go around her. It's like you're on the road and something's in the middle of the road and you can't go forward, and you back up and you look and you go, oh, I can just drive in the grass and I'll go around it. It's that easy. Jack Smith is going to do that. He just needed to get enough examples of her being completely willfully against the law. He needed enough examples to be able to go around her. He couldn't do it from the beginning. That's not the law. The law is you got the judge you got. And it's also you got the attorney you got. You got to make do with it. very rarely do they let you get a new judge or get a new attorney. I mean, rarely. So he's making his case. He's going to present his case. He's going to go around her. Believe me, however that is, I don't know. He's going to go around her. Whether he has new charges against Donnie or he uses the same court charges and goes around her, or whether he gets her to recuse herself, however it is, I don't know how it's going to manifest, but he's going to go around her. It could take another month to 2 months, though. Let's see. Two more questions. Nurse M65 says, your question is about Texas elections. Will Allred beat Cruz? In the past, I have not seen Allred being very robust against Cruz. However, with time changes all things. With time, well, let's just say for entertainment purposes only, Mr. Cruz has got some skeletons in his closet, which are getting ready to just, fall out right out there in front of everybody. So Cruz is about to have some bad things happen to him. Couldn't happen to a better guy. And that's really going to help Allred. So again, when you make these predictions in, January, this last January for a race that's in November, now it's the end of April, things have changed. Energy changes. All of these people have free will. Apparently, a prosecutor has decided that they have enough information to look into Cruz. They didn't make that decision in January. Maybe they didn't have the witnesses. Maybe they didn't have the information they needed, the evidence they needed. But now things are changing. So as we go into the summer, I feel that I wouldn't want to be Ted Cruz because I think whatever's coming out is going to be embarrassing. I mean, not that Republicans care about being embarrassed, but again, the American people are just not ready to put up with all of this BS. They just want to worry about sports. They don't want to worry about their wife dying in the parking lot. They don't want to worry about all these things that they have to worry about with Republicans being crazy. They don't want to worry about their grandkids speaking Russian, right? They don't want to worry about this stuff. They just want to worry about the stuff that seems normal, They don't want to worry about the drought or about a foreign country buying all the water plants or, you know what I mean? They don't want to worry about this stuff. They put their political things on autopilot and they thought, those people are smarter than me. They'll make the best decisions. I actually had a friend tell me that. I used to think that politics was for other people, and I trusted that the right thing would be done. But now I don't. I know the right thing isn't going to be done. So now I lay awake all night worried about it. That guy also used to be a Republican. Now he's a Democrat. Okay? Things are changing. People are changing. Believe me, it's really, really happening. So if Cruz has embarrassing things come out, Texans are just not in the right mood to be made fun of right now. It was already bad enough that he was escaping our state when the rest of us were dying from freezing temperatures and he was flying to Cancun. Okay. I think women, again, they're just showing me women are going to vote for Allred. Cruz is out. So that's good news. Okay, everybody, I'm going to end this here. I do want to say that I'm going to be doing another video. I'm going to really try to do another video because there's something really fascinating about person number 16. Go look at Midas Touch. Go look at Ben Meiselas's video about Judge Cannon leaking, kind of leaking, but not leaking. Not leaking because she's the judge, but she made public a list of some very interesting information. Jack Smith said, you can't put these names out here. So instead, she just put person 16, person 23. But by putting it into the public, it does make it sound like they're trying to find out who this person is, this person number 16, because person number 16 put the screws to Trump. just the way they're trying to figure out who all the jurors are, like it's like a game to figure out who the jurors are. They're going to try to figure out who this person 16 is. Watch the Midas Touch video about Judge Cannon. I think it just came out today on April 23rd. It's absolutely spellbinding and fascinating and a little bit scary. I do want to look into who person 16 is. Thank you, Brenda, for bringing that up. I'll try to do another video about that. We'll just have to see. Take really good care, everybody. Just take really good care of yourselves. You can see by these videos that it is just, we are in it. We're kind of in the eye of the storm. You know, we're in a calm place surrounded by absolute, mayhem. And let's just stay in the eye of the storm. Let's not get into the storm. Take really, really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again really, really soon. Thanks for subscribing, liking, sharing, and leave me a comment. Take good care. For entertainment purposes only.